And Samkele, finally we get to hear from the man himself this afternoon.
Indeed, Tembegile, Mosebenzi Zwane, the former Minister of Mineral Resources in South Africa, former Agriculture MEC in the Free State Province, former Treasurer of the ANC, the Free State, and now ANC NEC member, has been implicated in the State Capital Commission of Inquiry. His name is in glimpses in Peter Louis Mayberg's book on the gangster state, unraveling Ace Magashule in the Free State. Should understand that he's been a long-standing ally of the ANC Secretary General and former Premier of the Free State Province, whom they both are entangled in allegations of state capture and corruption in South Africa, and their friendship with the Gupta family, which would be Atul Gupta and the Gupta brothers. I'm not going to waste time, Tembegile. I'm going to throw straight to him. I once asked you a question on whether you are a corrupt politician, and your allegations of being in business with the Guptas or helping set up the Gupta businesses and the Free Dairy Farm. And you said that people can speak, and you recited a poem. Do you still maintain those words?
I still maintain those words.
Peter Louis Mayberg's book is pretty damning against your era with Ace Magashule in the Free State Province. Is there any substance to that book of Peter Louis Mayberg's?
Well, let me take this opportunity and say we respect democracy in South Africa. We respect people exercising their democracy. But we should also quickly say we should not celebrate when people go out of their own way to tarnish people they don't know. That book to me is not fit to be where other books are. It is said this book has been well researched, and in my view, anybody who says that, they need to be checked in their mind.
But Mosebenzi, are you trying to tell us that issues of the asbestos project in the Free State Province are not there? A man who was awarded that multi-million rand contract was shot dead in Sandton, and it's alleged that there was R1 million in the boot of his car. Are you telling us that issues where you were involved in, the Free Dairy Farm project, are nothing but a myth and allegations and no substance? Where you in the Free State, in your department, people's names were used fraudulently and IDs used fraudulently to say they were beneficiaries of a Free Dairy Farm project which they never benefited anything from. Are those allegations not true?
Well, I've said, and I'm still saying it, anybody who has those allegations, they know what to do. The issue of Free Dairy has been here, is now, I'm sure it's 3-4 years old. I have said anybody who has information and facts on that issue must go and open case, put facts. From where I'm standing, what is in that book of Mr. Mayberg is not worth writing about. If he wants to write a book about Ace Magashule and Free State, let me invite him. I know what we did when we were there. I know what Ace Magashule did when he was a premier. More than 10,000 school kids were given bursaries, not only in South Africa, in Russia, in China, in Cuba, in Turkey, everywhere. Others are doctors as we speak today.
With all due respect, Mr. Zwane, we do get the SG's and the former Premier's love and passion for education.
Sure.
We do see him sending students abroad to go and study. We do know that the Free State government has sent about 9,000 students to go and study abroad. With all that, with all due respect, the Free State has been number one when it comes to matric results in 2017, and in 2016, 2017. Then Gauteng took over last year, 2018.
Yeah, sure.
But leave those issues aside. That good stories to tell that you have just narrated now, it's there, it's well documented in the media space, and I've done some stories on it and reflected on it in our town hall yesterday. But the issue is the nefarious allegations of corruption, wrongdoing, and gangsterism that went through under your political watch and guidance with Ace Magashule in the Free State. That's what we're speaking about here. Is there any substance to those things. Thabo Manyoni says he was taken to the Guptas by Ace Magashule. Mxolisi Dukwana, who's a former treasurer like you in the Free State Province and a former deputy chair, says he was taken to the Guptas by Ace Elias Segobela Magashule.
Why did they not speak at that time when they were taken there if it was against their will? What makes them to speak now? Because Ace Magashule is now the SG of the ANC, and his name and the name of the ANC must be tarnished, and we must celebrate that. That's mediocre. The truth of the matter is that all of us were there in the Free State. We had our fair share in helping the people of the Free State. It's not only education that we're talking about. I'm happy you can count on the things, the good stories that this book has not even touched on. That is why I'm saying this book is not worth celebrating.
But that does not mean that the negatives must not be written about, because those negatives have been in the public discourse, being deliberated upon in the political realms of the ANC, not only in the Free State. If, Mosebenzi, you go to the Mangaung conference, which you hosted in 2012, you were nullified by the courts in the Mpora Makatsa judgment, which the advocate Dalimpof represented in Mpora Makatsa. That conference was nullified, which elected you, if I'm not mistaken, as a treasurer. And you and Ace Magashule went to that conference as non-voting delegates. You go to NASREC, you and Ace Magashule again went to that conference as non-voting delegates after your conference, which took place, if I'm not mistaken, around Bares, was nullified yet again by the courts. So are you trying to say that organizationally in the ANC and in government in the Free State Province, there was nothing wrong that was going on under your helm with Ace Magashule?
Well, let me say, it's not true in the first place that we went to the Mangaung conference as non-voting delegate. I was a delegate, a voting delegate. Ace Magashule was also a delegate. The conference was nullified because there are comrades who challenged the conference at the court, and as law-abiding citizens, we allowed that to happen. We went to another conference which re-elected us, which was not challenged. Well, in terms of government, all what I'm saying is Peter Mayberg was not there. What he has written in that book is a hearsay. He hears people saying this. I am saying Mosebenzi Zwane was there. I can write a better book than what this Mr. Mayberg has written and term it a well-researched book. I have not seen in my time in the Free State this 10% they are talking about. I have not seen during my time in the Free State a gangsterism that was busy corrupting government. I have seen people getting into houses. I have seen people getting work. I have seen business people being helped. I have seen children going to school, which this book does not even reflect. I am saying if Mr. Mayberg is genuine, I have read that book. If he wants to write a fair story about comrades or any individuals, let's balance the facts and let's not write what is alleged about people and make it facts.
But where were you and where was the SG when Peter Louis Mayberg sent about 60 questions to Ace Magashule on this particular issue and allegations that were being leveled against him by people like Mxolisi Dukwana, like the former mayor of Mangaung, Thabo Manyoni?
You know, we were not 3 MECs. We were about 10, all in all. If you want to write a story, leave Mosebenzi outside, leave Manyoni, leave Dukwana, and go and get what others are saying. They will say what Mosebenzi Zwane is saying, because I was there. All what I'm asking is that anybody who's writing about us, our stories, must be decent enough to balance the facts. The fact that Mr. Mayberg is saying he sent 60 questions and they were never answered does not give him facts about the issues.
When are you and the SG challenging that book if you are saying it's false and it's not portraying a true narrative of you? Are you not challenging
if I was SG, or let me talk for myself, I wouldn't waste my time challenging this thing. I wouldn't. There are so many things to be done by us as leaders who are elected by branches and people of South Africa. We must never allow a situation where we are defocused by a simple allegation that cannot be tested. Our work is not to answer on allegations. Our work is to do what the people have given to us as a mandate. That is our work.
Mr. Zwane, with all due respect, all municipalities in the Free State, in the 2016-2017 Auditor General's financial year report, audits of these municipalities in the Free State, none of them, 100% of them, were found to be defunct, not functioning properly. There is wasteful and unauthorized expenditure in these municipalities. They are not functional, they are not viable. And you are saying, sitting here right now, that you are running a perfectly clean government in the Free State that's delivering to the people.
I am saying, seated here, that is the task that we must look at and correct, rather than going to court and challenging this thing that has no basis. If somebody sends you questions and we have not answered, where do they get facts that they put in the book?
Why?
I for one, as Mosebenzi Zwane, never received even a single question.
Why are you only speaking now? Why didn't you try and approach Peter Louis when the book was being written?
I will not do that. To him, I will not glorify Peter Maybeck, who wants to be well known, who wants to be a peacetime hero, for writing about people he has not even consulted. The people he does not even know. I'm not going to glorify that.
How do you sleep at night when you know that the people of Frede were supposed to benefit from the project which was started and initiated under your term of the dairy farm, ended up not benefiting anything from that multi-million rand project, which money was alleged to have also been siphoned to the wedding of the Gupta family, which used blue lights from Waterkloof going to Sun City?
Well, I'm glad you're asking that question. Who stopped the project in Frede? Is it me? No. Who said people must not benefit? Is it me? No. We started that project, not only that project in Frede. We started that project, we started a project of chicken, we built chicken houses. And because we are in partnership with a white company in these chicken houses, nobody knows about it. If you go to Frede and look at that project, it's 100% black, owned by blacks. Go and look at the planning of the project and tell me what is wrong and what was wrong about the project. Nobody can say it. So for all intents and purposes, I left the project moving, and these people who claim to be knowing and having facts have actually affected that project by putting propaganda everywhere about the project.
So you are saying you are clean when it comes to that project. You are not part of the wrongdoing when it comes to the freedom.
I have said it many times, and I want to say it here. I have never participated in any wrongdoing in that project. I have initiated a project, and it was not only Frede, it was called Mohoma Mobu. You can go to the Free State, and the project was approved by the executive committee. So it's a project that is well known. It's not the Mosebenzi Zwane project. It's a project of the government of the Free State.
Mr. Zwane, the State Capital Commission of Inquiry is ongoing. I'm just going to read here. Clinton Emfrom, the former CEO of Optimum, which was under Glencore control, placed you in a meeting in Grand Dollar Hotel in Zurich, Switzerland, directly named you Zwane, and in two meetings with Emfrom, and says Zwane advised Glencore to sell the mine to Oak Bay Investments, Oak Bay owned by the Guptas. This meeting, which you have previously denied it existed and said you never flew to Switzerland to meet Glencore and bid for Oak Bay. He says you did and has implicated you in the Commission of Inquiry. Are you going to apply to cross-examine him, and are you going to give your own version of events?
I've been giving my own version of events now for more than 3 years. I don't know if anybody would want to listen to it, because it's a record that should have sold in millions of rands. I don't know if you want me to still put it here. Whether somebody has gone to the commission or not, I have said what I said, and I stand by it.
Did you facilitate the sale of an arms string in Glencoe to sell Optimum mine to the Guptas?
Well, when I was listening to Mr. Clinton, he did not say I facilitated. He said, I said, I am concerned about the people who should not lose their jobs, and they must talk and finish whatever they need to finish, and I went out. That's what he said in the commission. And I don't know if it will be wise for me to go and challenge that.
So you're not going to challenge it?
Because I have said many times that about 3,000 people, they were losing their jobs. It came formally to the department, and we discussed this issue in the cabinet. It's not an issue of Mosebenzi Zwane waking up and dreaming of intervening on this matter, which is not on the table.
So you never advised Glencoe to sell to Optimum?
I never advised anybody to sell to anybody. What I said is what has been quoted, is what I've been saying all the time.
Are you going to challenge this, and are you going to cross-examine the former CEO of Glencoe?
I am taking my time to take a decision on that one, but I can tell you now that I will only challenge and cross-examine anybody I feel that they are grossly misrepresenting me. I'm not going to stand up and run after anybody who goes to the commission and say Mosebenzi Zwane was with Ace Mahashule in the Free State. I won't do that.
Mr. Zwane, today, 8 months on, workers of Optimum coal mine, your constituency as the African National Congress, through the National Union of Mine Workers, NUM, have gone on for about 8 months without salaries. If they do, it's after 3 or 4 months. And those salaries go into their bank accounts, they are taken by debit orders. How do you, as a former minister, as a politician, claiming to be representing the aspirations of South Africans, sleep at night, knowing that what you were trying to facilitate in Glencoe and Oak Bay has resulted in these workers losing their jobs and the mine closing, and the workers and some South Africans and foreign nationals at Gloria coal mine ended up dying through illegal mining?
Well, it is also well documented that I went to that mine when this thing of the workers started. People not any. It was all over the media that I intervened. I even called the banks to try and discuss this matter, because to me it was an issue. I am not happy that people are not earning. I'm not happy that people have continued to die. I am not happy that people have continued to lose their jobs. You will remember, as a minister, I had 3 issues which were priority issues: job creation, stopping job losses, and ensuring that people are safe in their place of work.
But with due respect, Mr. Zwane, these workers were bought by a company whom are linked to yourself and the Secretary General of the ANC in the history of the Free State. The Guptas did a lot of business in the Free State, and you know them very well. They may as well have donated to the African National Congress in the Free State for conferences. You may know that. You know the finances of the ANC within that province. I'm not sure if they did or they didn't. But they were in some sort of relationship with yourself, with the Secretary General, with the Secretary General's son, Tsepiso. And you are telling me that you never facilitated the sale of Glencoe to Optimum, and that you don't blame them for the collapse of the mine. When the current Minister of Mineral Resources went to that mine, he said to those workers, it would be a huge mistake to give these mines back to the hands of the Guptas, whom you facilitated for them to have these mines.
Well, I said I did not facilitate any deal. I'm saying so now. When I was there, this mine was under liquidation. People were losing their jobs. I saved those jobs and many other jobs. I can pull a record of the jobs that I've saved in the mines. It's not only that mine. I have intervened on a number of occasions, not only with the Guptas. I have intervened with Chris Griffiths. I've intervened with Bontate Majara. I've intervened with many people. It's there, it's recorded. If anybody was to lose their jobs, I would stand up and say the DG must call so that we resolve this matter.
So you are saying that these workers are not stranded today and plundered into poverty. It's not on your hands, you had nothing to do with it.
No, it's not. I'm not a businessman. I've not done business whilst I was there with anybody. I've just helped people. I have signed licenses for both black and white. They are there. People can check.
Who do you blame?
If people want to write fair stories about us, they must ask us, we will tell them, or take the records. They are there. You can't change the records.
Who do you blame for the disaster that is Optimum and Gloria coal mine today?
Well, you may want to take the whole mining sector and say, who do I blame for the situation today? Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to blame anybody because I'm no longer a minister there. During my term there as a minister, I did my best for people to be better off, to be safe, to get jobs, not to lose jobs. My record speaks for itself. But now that I'm no longer a minister, it will not be correct and fair of me to take somebody's job and judge them.
These workers are saying you are the one who's responsible for the socio-economic plight they face today. Their houses have been taken, their cars have been taken, their kids have been removed from schools. They are saying you brought the Guptas and Tageta to them and took the mine from Glencoe and gave it to a company that plundered them into a socio-economic crisis.
Well, if you understand the meaning of business risk, you'll understand that you cannot come with a person and say, take this person. When I came there, this mine was already in business rescue. When I came there, Tageta was already there as a company who was willing to buy. And I have said to people, was there any other company except Tageta which was not looked at? No. The only company which was willing to buy at that time, as per the information I had and the information which still stands today, was Tageta. That is why I said I do not want to be part of these things, but I don't want people to lose jobs. Get on with your discussions and conclude it and ensure that this thing comes out of business risk.
How many times did you visit the Guptas?
Well, this question has been asked to me many times, and I've answered it. I have never counted. As I visit people, I have not visited Guptas only. I have visited most of the CEO in the sector. I went to Northwest Rustenburg. I met people there. I went everywhere. I went there and addressed the whole workers with their leaders. And I also addressed them as people who were part of the sector. And I've never denied that. And people should not make it as if it's a finding. It's not a finding.
So you are not a Gupta stooge and minion?
I will never be anybody's stooge in South Africa. Go and check how many Section 54s during my term I gave to them. The department gave to them. You will see that, in fact, during my term, they were punished more than anybody's term before me. The records are there. They can speak for themselves. Let's leave this, what people are saying, as a hearsay. Go to the record. They will say to you, those people, during my time, they were punished more than any other person.
Mr. Mosebenzi Zwane, thank you very much for the sit-down. We'll certainly pick this discussion up another time. Should the Hawks and the NPA have their ducks in a row, as that case of the Free Dairy Farm was rolled in the Bloemfontein court, and we will certainly follow it up if they do, and if nobody, as the Democratic Alliance came to Luthuli House today and brought orange overalls and handcuffs. We are not saying or implicating you in any guilt, but we are saying there are allegations out there, and South Africans do need answers to them, and this is why we had to sit down with you today.
Thank you very much for that. People must not judge people before facts are put on the table. I am a law-abiding citizen. I stand by my leaders. I will stand by Ace Magashule, and we are ready for any action.
Mr. Zwane, thank you very much. That is it. We will leave it with that. Mr. Magashule is saying that Mr. Zwane rather saying he will stand by Ace Magashule, saying those are allegations against him and they don't hold water, saying his hands are clean and he doesn't see anything wrong with what he did when it comes to what the workers in Optimum Coal Mine and Gloria Coal Mine are facing today.